Late-breaking news. The Arizona Republic is reporting the Department of Homeland Security has informed the Guatemalan government that no more illegal immigrants will be bused from Texas to Arizona. The Consul General of Guatemala, based in Phoenix, says there will be no more of these drop-offs. As we've been reporting, this drop-off program has been happening in Phoenix and right here in Tucson at our Greyhound bus station. ICE officials, though, could not immediately confirm that this policy had officially ended.
Also late-breaking news, Tucson police need your help identifying this man and finding this man who they say pistol whipped a woman. Take a look. The incident happened a couple of days ago in the parking lot of a Circle K near Mission and 36th. Police say this man got into an argument with two women in the parking lot, and during the fight he pulled out a handgun and pointed it at them and then pistol whipped one of them. He then took off in a white Nissan Frontier pickup truck. If you know anything about this, please call 911 or 88 Crime. And of course, a big story that affects all of us today, the heat. We still have one more hour left on this excessive heat warning. Good news, though, we may be cooling off a bit tomorrow. Let's send things over now to First Alert Chief Meteorologist Kevin Jeans. And Kevin, how cool, and I say that with air quotes, how cool are we going to get?
Well, you'd hope it wouldn't get hotter, and so we kind of have to cool down a little bit. And it's not going to be a significant drop in temperatures, but it is some signs of relief, and this will be some good news. This is the fourth consecutive day now we've had this excessive heat warning, and again, it's in effect for the next hour until 7 o'clock, and then we'll cool down even quicker tonight with clearing skies, or clear skies right now, and the dry air is going to cool quickly tonight. So it's going to be more of a pleasant, I think, evening and night tonight than the past few days have been. 103 right now in Tucson, though, 98 degrees in Nogales and Douglas. Daytime high in Tucson, 106. 2 degrees shy of the record of 108 degrees, but we already broke the record Monday. We tied it Tuesday. Here's the records for the next 7 days, and we're only going to be close to maybe one of these numbers, so that's the good news. A cool down is on the way. I'll tell you when we could be closer to our next record. Your First Alert forecast is still ahead.
All right, thanks so much, Kevin. And updating you now on late-breaking news we've been following here for the past 2 hours. A gunman has opened fire at a university in Seattle. We've just learned that the suspect, a man, entered a Seattle Pacific University building with a shotgun and shot at least 3 people. Now, at that point, a building monitor apparently confronted the shooter and pepper sprayed him, and then students managed to help take down the suspect, pinning him down until police arrived. In just the past hour, we've learned that one of the victims has died. The suspected gunman is in custody, and new at 6, students inside the building are now describing what they heard.
In the middle class, we just hear a muffled sound, and a lot of people thought it was a gunshot, and our teacher thought it was just a science experiment. So the person closest to the door, they look outside, they don't see anything, but they come back in and they say, "I think someone's been shot." So we turn off the lights, we lock the door, and we close the blinds, and I was kind of scared.
And again, you're taking a look as that campus had been placed on lockdown earlier today. Again, police have said that one suspect is in custody. Again, we've learned at least one victim has died from gunshot wounds. We continue to track this situation for you, and we will bring you the very latest.
Today, a group of senators, including Arizona's John McCain and Vermont's Bernie Sanders, reached an agreement on a bill to give veterans more options for their health care. McCain and Sanders announced the deal on the floor today. It would allow vets who run into long waits for appointments at the VA or live more than 40 minutes from a VA clinic to use private doctors for government-paid medical care. The full Senate still needs to vote on the bill, which should happen next week, and then the House would also have to vote on it. Meanwhile, in Phoenix, the new man in charge of the VA visited the facility where the scandal broke, and he's revealing new information today. Acting VA Secretary Sloan Gibson says 18 vets died who were kept off official Veteran Affairs waiting lists in the Phoenix area. But he's not sure if those deaths are related to delays in seeing doctors. He's also not sure if those deaths are among the 40 claimed by a retired doctor who blew the whistle on the scandal. Gibson says the agency will release nationwide data on patient wait times next week.
This will not be tolerated. We're going to deal with the issues. We're going to hold people accountable. And from that moment on, I have not relented, and I will not relent. This is not what our veterans deserve. This will not stand.
Gibson took over the VA last week after Secretary Eric Shinseki resigned. A report by the VA's Inspector General last week, of course, found 1,700 vets in the Phoenix area were at risk of being lost or forgotten because they were kept off the official waiting list. And this, of course, is a big issue here in southern Arizona as well. Arizona Congressman Rahul Grijalva toured the VA hospital right here in Tucson. He spoke with vets about what they liked about the facility and what they didn't like. And KOLD News 13's Bud Foster was with the congressman when he arrived on the south side, and he joins us from the VA. Bud.
Yeah, I had a long conversation with the congressman today while he was here at the VA, and the consensus seemed to be we've been down this road many times before, that there's some kind of scandal, some kind of problem within the VA. There's a lot of talk, a lot of conversation, a lot of promises made, and then after a couple of weeks, a few weeks, all is forgotten. I asked the congressman today whether this time could be different.
I think we have a golden moment here in which a lot can get done because there's a great deal of public pressure and accountability.
Pressure from many fronts pushing forward an opportunity the VA may not have had before. A nexus of Congress, veterans organizations, and the public coming together to acknowledge the serious problem, but also with a widespread desire to get it fixed.
The VA has a crisis of resources right now. It has a crisis of confidence, and it has and that must be dealt with. And places like Tucson have to be looked at as, for what they are, exemplary.
Tucson's VA has one of the best independent ratings in the country and may be looked at for help. Even the vets we talked with believe this time may be different.
When I came back in 1968 from Vietnam,
servicemen then were not encouraged to seek help at the VA, but they are coming into the system today in big numbers.
we were basically told just go, live our lives. There were no benefits no one ever told me there were benefits available for a Vietnam veteran back in '68. Wasn't until 2011.
That outreach, coupled with 1.5 million soldiers returning from the Middle East, have helped cause the resource crisis, and Tucson is close enough to be on the edge of that.
I can tell you that in the past, a few weeks ago, we had as many as 11 veterans that had called from Phoenix inquiring about getting care within Tucson.
Now, Grijalva toured the mental health unit here today, talking to the vets about their concerns. He toured the mental health unit, he says, because he feels in the future it will be in great demand. At the VA on the south side, I'm Bud Foster, KOLD News 13, live locally breaking.
Bud, thank you very much. The Marines are working to help 3 families whose homes were damaged or destroyed after yesterday's Harrier jet crash in California. Investigators are still at the scene of that crash in Imperial. That's about 60 miles west of Yuma. That Harrier jet came down in this neighborhood, setting 2 homes on fire and heavily damaging a third. Now, nobody on the ground was hurt. The pilot even managed to safely eject with only minor injuries. It could still take months before investigators know exactly what caused this fiery crash. The intersection of Lambert and La Cañada is now open after a serious motorcycle accident earlier today. An elderly man is in critical condition after a motorcycle crash. Again, it happened earlier this afternoon. A helicopter had to fly him to the hospital. Oro Valley police are still investigating.
We have new details at 6. The man who drove nearly 2,000 miles in his car with a dead body in the passenger seat will not face charges. Police in Michigan say there's no evidence that gives them a reason to charge 62-year-old Ray Tomlinson. On Sunday, he picked up a 31-year-old woman from a mental health facility in Phoenix and headed for Detroit, also with his mother in the car. At some point early in the trip, the woman died, possibly from the prescription drugs she was taking. The man says he didn't call police right away because he read on the internet he thought 14 hours to contact authorities, and he planned to do it when he got home to Detroit. Police are still waiting to hear back from the coroner about how the woman died.
Here locally, Pima County deputies received a call for a drug overdose, but when they arrived, they found some foul play. It happened this morning on Benson Highway near Valencia. Deputies found 23-year-old Veronica Anderson dead inside a home. Now, they're not giving any specifics, but they say that the evidence didn't point to a drug overdose. Investigators later arrested her roommate, this man, 22-year-old Keenan Gallagher. He's charged with second-degree murder.
And brand new at 6, a teacher in the Phoenix area is accused of filming his sexual assault of 2 underage students. Police charge this man, 37-year-old Werner Gerard. He's a drama teacher on more than a dozen counts related to sexual conduct with a minor. Authorities found multiple cell phone videos on his phone depicting a 15-year-old girl and a 16-year-old girl, one showing Gerard sexually assaulting the 15-year-old. The victims say they were both students of his and he taught at a high school. He taught at Peoria High School.
Also new at 6, Border Patrol agents seized a semi-truck and livestock trailer containing more than 4,400 pounds of marijuana. Take a look. Its value exceeds more than $2.2 million. Last night around 8 o'clock, Border Patrol agents pulled over the truck near Whetstone, Arizona. That's about 20 minutes east of Tombstone. Agents pulled the driver over and discovered 188 bundles of marijuana, as you see here, and a gun. That driver is now in jail. And
Supersized soccer plans in the works for the South Side, but how much green would it take?
And later in sports, 1 round down, 1 to go. Hear from a local high school player hoping to make it to the major leagues. I'm Teresa Johnny in for Heather Rowe.
And I'm Craig Thomas in for Dan Myers. You're watching Kold News 13, live at 6, live, local, late breaking.
And right now on TucsonNewsNow.com, Tucson police need your help finding 2 armed robbery suspects. Take a good look and see if you can identify them. We'll be right back.